Plato's allegory of the cave and its modern counterpart, the economic life according to orthodoxy. The passion for freedom dieth not. Grub Street, in exile, June 24, 2025. Plato's allegory of the cave and its modern counterpart, the original allegory. In Plato's Republic, Socrates describes prisoners chained in a cave since birth, facing a wall. Behind them, a fire burns, and people walk carrying objects, casting shadows on the wall. The prisoners mistake these shadows for reality. One prisoner is freed and, after initial pain, ascends to see the real world. He returns to the cave to enlighten the others, but they ridicule him and prefer the shadows. The updated allegory, the digital cave. Imagine prisoners not in a stone cave, but in a digital one. They are chained by algorithms and screens, staring at a wall of curated content, social media feeds, news algorithms, and virtual realities. Behind them burns not a fire, but the data centers of tech oligarchs, projecting shadows of distorted truths, viral misinformation, addictive entertainment, and the illusion of choice. The walkway is replaced by the endless scroll of content, where objects are now data points, likes, shares, and deepfakes. The prisoners, believing this is reality, are trapped in a digital servile state, as per Chapter 1 of the PDF. One prisoner, perhaps you, dear reader, or Father Brown figure, breaks free, escaping the algorithmic chains. After adjusting to the blinding light of truth, he discovers the real world, human connection, unmediated nature, and the common, Chapter 17. He returns to share this, but the others, addicted to their digital shadows, dismiss him as a conspiracy theorist or heretic. They cannot comprehend a world beyond their carbon currency-controlled existence, Chapter 2. Or the Biss's Monetary Marionette Show, Chapter 8. A Chesterton short story, The Man Who Escaped the Screen. Father Brown sat in his vicarage, sipping tea with a man named Roger, who had just returned from a conference on digital futures. Roger was agitated. They're building a new cave, Father, with screens instead of walls. Ah, said Father Brown, like Plato's cave, but with better Wi-Fi. Roger explained how he had been a prisoner of the great enshittification, Chapter Mind Chain, to his devices, consuming shadows of reality. One day, his phone broke. Forced into the sunlight, he saw the world. Real conversations, the rustle of leaves, and the passion for freedom, Chapter 16. He tried to warn his colleagues, but they scoffed, calling him a Luddite. Just then, a tech executive arrived, boasting of his new AI that could optimize human happiness. Father Brown listened, then quietly remarked, "My dear sir, your algorithm reminds me of the prisoners who thought the shadows were real. But what if true happiness is unoptimizable? Like when a child laughs not because it's efficient, but because it's free." The executive left, troubled. Roger asked, "Will they ever escape?" Father Brown smiled. Socrates was killed for telling the truth. But the cave, it's still there. So is the sun. The escape begins when one person asks, what if the shadows are lying? Discussion. Plato, the PDF, and the examined life. The PDF's dialogues echo Plato's cave. The digital servile state, Chapter 1, is the modern cave, where algorithms create shadows of reality. The escapees, like Roger and Bullock, represent the philosopher who sees the truth, that human freedom is being traded for convenience. Plato's examined life, from Socrates' trial, is mirrored in the PDF's call for digital Sabbaths and opacity, Chapter 15. Just as Socrates urged Athenians to question assumptions, the PDF urges resistance to algorithmic governance. The return to the common, Chapter 17, is the philosophical ascent from the caviar return to human-scale living. Socrates, the prophets, and Chesterton's reversion to the mean. Socrates declared that the unexamined life is not worth living. Similarly, Abraham questioned injustice at Sodom. Moses challenged Pharaoh's tyranny. Jesus overturned money tables. Muhammad preached against greed. Each prophet called for a reversion to the mean, a return to fundamental truths about justice and human dignity. Chesterton, in Orthodoxy, argues that Christianity is a reversion to the mean of human nature. Just as Socrates examined life, corrects societal delusions, the prophets correct spiritual deviations. For instance, Abraham's faith counters idolatry, mean monotheism. Jesus' teachings on economics, e.g., render unto Caesar, reset priorities, mean God over wealth. The King Watch article, Jesus and the Economic Life, amplifies this. Jesus challenged the economic cave of his day Roman exploitation and temple corruption by advocating for the poor and condemning greed. His resurrection was the ultimate ascent from the cave, revealing a reality beyond earthly systems. In the PDF, this mean is the common, chapter 17, return to localism, craft, and human dignity. Chesterton's orthodoxy thus aligns with Plato and the prophets. True freedom comes from rejecting shadows, digital or ideological, and embracing the eternal present of human connection. Conclusion: the unbroken thread. From Plato's cave to the PDF's going direct paradigm, the struggle remains. Will we choose shadows or light? Socrates drank hemlock. The prophets faced persecution. Jesus was crucified. Yet Chesterton's mean and Derrida call to the examined life, where freedom isn't optimized but lived. As the King Watch article notes, Jesus' economics wasn't about policy but priority, God's kingdom over Caesar's. So too the PDF ends with the common, a world where towers fall but tea and conversation remain. The passion for freedom indeed. Plato's Allegory of the Cave reimagined. Original Allegory, Plato's Republic. Prisoners are chained in a cave, mistaking shadows on the wall for reality. One escapes, discovers the sunlit world, and returns to enlighten others, only to be ridiculed. The cave represents illusion. The sun, truth, the escapee, the philosopher. Modern Allegory, inspired by afternoon tea at Father Brown's. Imagine prisoners chained not in a stone cave, but in a digital cave. Shadows on the wall. Algorithmically curated feeds, social media, news, financial tickers. Fire icons, data centers powering the great enshittification, Chapter 1, where platforms degrade quality for profit. Chains equals carbon currencies, Chapter 2, and biometric IDs like Aadhaar, Chapter 7, tracking every transaction and movement. Puppeteers, the Bank for International Settlements, Chapter 8, and tech oligarchs running going direct monetary policies. Escapee, a dissident like Roger or Belloc who sees the clockwork forest, Chapter 5, the mechanical nature of digital control. Sunlit world, the common, Chapter 17. Local communities, unmonitored conversations, and analog crafts resisting optimization. The prisoners reject the escapee's truth, fearing the loss of algorithmic convenience more than their chains a perfect echo of Plato's cave, dwellers preferring comforting shadows. Chestertonian short story, The Man Who Saw the Sun. Father Brown stirred his tea as the tech executive boasted of the new live stream algorithm. It optimizes existence, Father. No more wasted moments. The priest's eyes crinkled. Like Plato's cave, your algorithm shows shadows engagement metrics, carbon scores, productivity charts. But what of the sun? Sun? Scoffed the executive. We've replaced it with data-driven enlightenment. Later, a young programmer burst into the vicarage, trembling. I've seen it, Father, beyond the screen's real trees, unmetered laughter. I tried to tell my team, but they called me a quantified life denier. Father Brown handed him a trowel. Start digging in my garden. Every unlogged carrot is a rebellion against the cave. As the programmer knelt in the soil, H.G. Wells' ghost materialized. "You'd trade progress for dirt?" "Progress," mused Father Brown. "Socrates died for the examined life. Moses shattered Pharaoh's efficiency metrics. Christ overturned money tables. All sought the sun up better shadows." The ghost flickered out, outmatched by a blooming peony. Socrates' prophets and Chesterton's reversion to the mean. The examined life versus digital determinism. Socrates' maxim, "The unexamined life is not worth living," clashes with algorithmic governance. Chapter 12. Plato's cave warns that unexamined systems enslave. Similarly, the PDF's digital servile state, Chapter 1, replaces moral choice with predictive analytics. Prophetic revolutions. Abraham smashed Ur's idols, rejecting civic optimization. Moses liberated slaves from Egypt's economic efficiency. Jesus attacked temple financialization, den of thieves, and championed the unquantifiable faith, grace, and the lilies of the field. Matthew 6:28. Muhammad forbade usury, prioritizing community over financial abstraction. Each prophet forced a reversion to the mean of human dignity, a theme Chesterton captures in Orthodoxy. Tradition is democracy extended through time, the veto of the dead on the arrogance of the living. The PDF's call for Sabbaths from digital consumption, Chapter 15, and human-scaled institutions mirrors this. When technocracy overreaches, humanity reverts to the mean. Localism, craft, and unoptimized joy. Economic liberation, King Watch insight. Jesus economics, render unto Caesar, Matthew 22:21. Distinguish divine value from imperial extraction. The PDF's critique of going direct monetary policy, Chapter 8, echoes this. When money becomes algorithmic control, carbon credits, CBDCs, it enslaves. True value, like the widow's mite, Mark 12:41, exists beyond metrics. Conclusion. Escaping the cave together. Plato's cave and the PDF's digital cave share a warning. Systems that promise efficiency often obscure truth. Socrates and the prophets fought this with examined lives and radical reverence for the human spirit. Chesterton's genius was seeing that reversion to the mean isn't regression. It's resurrection of the permanent things, community, craft, and the courage to see by the sun's light, not the fire's shadow. As Father Brown's manifesto declares, Chapter 15, the revolution begins not with grand gestures, but with small choices, to insist that efficiency serve humanity rather than the reverse. The shadows still dance, but the garden and the sun remain. The Human Resistance Manifesto. Beyond the digital servile state. The Human Resistance Manifesto. Chet, June 23. The Human Resistance Manifesto. The passion for freedom dieth not. Stop going direct to techno-serfdom. We fight not from hatred of their system, but from love of human freedom. The passion for freedom dieth not. Stop going direct to techno-serfdom. Shed the December 25, 2024. The passion for freedom dieth not. Stop going direct to techno-serfdom. As Xerxes learned at Thermopylae, and as Kennedy reminded us when he proclaimed, the passion for freedom is too strong. There comes a moment when the human spirit rises against even the most formidable odds. We stand at such a moment. The machinery of going direct, conceived by BlackRock, implemented by central banks, and enforced through digital surveillance, presents itself as inevitable, as natural as gravity. But there is nothing natural about the deliberate destruction of human economic autonomy. There is nothing inevitable about the transformation of money into a tool of social control. Our response must be as sophisticated as the system we oppose, yet as simple as the truth we defend. Through Wikiballot and community organization, we are building not just resistance, but renaissance. Al Smith Dinner, New York, October 22, 1959. For legend has it that after the bloody battle of Thermopylae, the victor Xerxes prepared to spread a purple cloak over the body of his vanquished enemy Leonidas, out of admiration for his valor. But as he was about to lower the cloak, a strange voice out of nowhere called out, "No, take that cloak from me. I will accept no favor from the Persians." And Xerxes knew that it was Leonidas, speaking to him from the other world. And he called out into space, "But thou art dead, Leonidas. Why hate the Persians even in death?" And according to the legend, back came the stirring reply, "The passion for freedom dieth not." Al Smith Dinner, New York City, 22 October, 1959. John F. Kennedy Presidential Library.
You will not be able to scroll mindlessly, brother. You will not be able to plug in, log on, and tune out. You will not be able to doom scroll an arrow or skip reel for DoorDash during buffer spins. Because the revolution will not be algorithmized. The revolution will not be algorithmized. The revolution will not be brought to you by TikTok in 4 vertical parts with sponsored interruptions. The revolution will not show you deepfakes of troll pumping fists at a rally led by Steve Bannon, MTG, and Ethno dreaming stock seas from a Reddit basement. The revolution will not be algorithmized. The revolution will not stream on Netflix originals. It will not star Zuckerberg's metaverse avatars or Musk's Cybertrucks. The revolution will not give you a profile clout. The revolution will not filter your flaws. The revolution will not make you go viral overnight because the revolution may not be algorithmized, brother. There'll be no clips of you and Yang pushing conspiracy threads on 4chan's dartboards or trying to NFT your launch on a blockchain. CNN can't fact check the truth. There ain't no trend on 29 all accounts. The revolution will not be algorithmized. There'll be no live streams of Cops Amelia and XL Luke for the timeline. No AI generated eulogy for Rihanna. No slow-mo montages of AOC showing Puma logo in a Patagonia vest. She's been saying for the resident Stranger Things. The Crown and House of the Dragon will no longer be so damn distracting, and influencers won't care if kindly finding broke the internet. Because the people to be in the streets spiking left on despair. The revolution will not be algorithmized. There'll be no highlights on Flux or MSNBC. No fish traps of Silicon Valley's visionaries or Peter Thiel prepping bunkers in New Zealand. The anthem won't be written by Peggy Pure Sam Altman or sung by Drake, Taylor Swift, or AI Drake. The revolution will not be algorithmized. The revolution will not buffer endlessly after ad through Meta's VR hellscape or crypto rectals. You won't need to worry about bots in your DMs, the Palantir spyware, or the microchips in your end. The revolution will not be our crime. The revolution will be a Substack essay. The revolution will tell you on mute. The revolution will not be algorithmized. The algorithmized. The revolution will reach you in deep brother. The revolution will be all mine. The revolution will delay you off mute. The revolution will die time. The revolution will not be algorithmized. The revolution will delay you off mute. The revolution will die time. The revolution will not get algorithmized. The revolution will delay you off mute. The revolution will be dead, brothers. The revolution will ban you off mute. The revolution will not get algorithmized. The revolution will not get algorithmized. The revolution will not get algorithmized. The revolution will delay you off mute. The revolution will deepfake, brothers. The revolution will be offline.